This is Dr. Taif Al-Azhari's first visit to Marat al-Numan, the site of the most shocking atrocity of the First Crusade. Tucked away in the northwest corner of Syria, this 11th century citadel has been all but forgotten. Its ruins are now little more than a playground to the children who emerge to shadow his tour.
I think we are really making our way into the citadel of Ma'arat, and to the left the remains of the mosque, and to the right hand the remain of the little palace for the ruler of the city. Probably this was a church serving the Christian population of Ma'arat and Numan, who were living peacefully side by side with their fellow Muslims. And of course the Crusaders were really indiscriminate about killing all the inhabitants of Ma'arat, regardless of their faith or their religion.
As the Crusaders consolidated their hold on the land around Antioch, a small contingent arrived here in November 1098 under the leadership of Bohemond.
We came to the city named Marat, not far off, in which many Turks and Saracens lived. Bohemond sent an interpreter to the Saracen leaders to tell them if they, with their wives and children and goods, would take refuge in a palace just above the city gates, he would spare them from death. All our men entered the gates, and each of them seized his own share of whatever goods he could find in all the houses and cellars. And towards dawn, everybody was killed.
وبعدين فجأة في عام 1099 ظهر جيش أوروبي جاي من فرنسا من إيطاليا. The sources really tell us about the suffering for all the inhabitants. Some of them were really lit in fire, and people were really just fried inside, burned alive inside. Some managed to escape. Of course, they cannot really escape the butchery of the Crusaders. Decapitated or knifed 1,000 times. 20,000, 25,000 were really massacred inside the town. Not only the Muslims were massacred, also Christians as well. Not only soldiers, but also children, elderly, women met their violent fate. So it was really a war crime place, kind of an ethnic cleansing.
Treachery followed by massacre had become the calling cards of the Crusader army. But as Christian witnesses revealed, it was what happened after the killing finally stopped that sets the story of Marat al-Numan apart.
The Franks stayed in the city for 1 month and 4 days. And while we were there, some of our men could not satisfy their needs. Either because we were there too long, or because they were so hungry, for there was no plunder to be had outside the city walls. So they ripped up the bodies of the dead, and others cut the dead flesh into slices and cooked it to eat. Our troops boiled pagan adults in cooking pots. They impaled children on spits to devour their flesh.